have a feel for his split. So kind of blown away at what he did.
Chiefs.
He's always been pretty good with doing that. It's a matter of the time that he's had to be able to get through those things. I think you have to include some of that. But again, his ability to do it on the move is unique. You see a little bit of that from Josh too. I mean, those guys, they both can do that. But Pat's he's got great vision. I know Troy Aikman mentioned him. He goes, he feels Troy was a quarterback, great quarterback. So he goes, man, his vision is unbelievable. And that's from a guy that's been there. He says he seems to see everything, and he's blessed with that part.
I mean, they don't like us. I mean, that's pretty. They do not like the Chiefs. But I mean, it is a cool environment. I love playing in like historic stadiums, and that stadium has had so many great players play in it. And who knows, it might be the last time that we get the opportunity to play there. It'll be a great challenge for us, and they're loud, and that's what you want. You want to go in and be in a hostile environment. That's what football, when you watch on TV as a kid growing up, is the environment you want to play in. And so obviously they're not rooting for us, but you get to bond together as a team and get to go into a historic stadium and play in a great environment.
Good morning, Kansas City. This is New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you so much for joining us. It is Thursday, October 30th, 2025. Stephen St. John solo, what up? Jake Gutierrez producing the show. Kind of a goofy show today. Things were moved around a little bit, but it'll be fun, because former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio will be with us at 6:30. Tim Grunhardt's going to come in a day early and spend about 45 minutes with us until 7:30. And then we'll talk to one of our NFL insiders, Adam Kaplan. Buster Olney is traveling, so he's going to be on the show tomorrow in the 9 o'clock hour. Gary Dieter is going to come in early because he has to leave early. And then Anthony Sherman will be in here. After Gary leaves, Sherman will stay. And then we'll talk to John Price from Sports Information Traders. And then wrap things up with Jesse Newell from The Athletics. So that's a busy show. That's a lot. But we could do it together. That's the best way to do it, together. And tomorrow's Halloween. Boo. Sunday, Chiefs at Bills. Let's go. Last night, the Toronto Blue Jays moved one step closer to winning the World Series, as they are able to win pivotal Game 5 at Dodger Stadium, 6-1. And the incredible postseason of rookie Trey Yesavage continues. He was up against Blake Snell. And, you know, sometimes, look, hey, we have so much to talk about, especially in, football season here when it overlaps with the baseball postseason. Number one, we lock in on the Chiefs. That's it. We know this. You know, if the Royals happen to get to the postseason, that's 1A and 1B. But then, like when you go into a college football season where all the, three local teams that we focus on have good expectations, then that becomes a big story, And has K-State lived up to them? Maybe not, but they're turning things around. Has Kansas lived up to their expectations? No, but it's still a compelling story. And then Missouri, I don't know. It depends on what your expectations were. But they're a top 25 team, only have 2 losses, and the 2 losses are the top 10 teams by 1 score. So there's a lot to talk about there, right? And Missouri played Kansas, and Kansas has played Kansas State. And, Jake wanted me to point out that Missouri has scoreboard on both teams, which is crazy to say, but I just put it out there because Jake reminded me
not true.
when I walked in and said, hey,
False.
Throw this fact out. I said, okay, I will.
I did not.
Sometimes things slip my mind.
It's a misrepresentation.
Good reminder. Good reminder. That's why it's the producer.
It's true.
And so you got that. And so, give me. So I need it. Give me something, all right? Let me have something.
You got the scoreboard.
And so, yeah, I really earned it. Sometimes what's going on in the baseball postseason, if the Royals aren't involved, can kind of slip through the cracks. And there's just too much right now with what's going on in the World Series not to talk about it. So we'll, as you heard, the upcoming guests are football. And then we're going to close the show with football. And so let me, for a moment, talk about a couple of things going on with the World Series that we should not overlook. And number one right now is Trey Savage, because it's crazy when you take a moment and really evaluate what's going on. Okay? He was drafted in 2024. Okay, remember the discussion earlier this year, the hand-wringing, is it too early to call up Jack Caglione? He was just drafted last year. And then we pointed to some other people. Well, Nick Kurtz came up, and he's not going to cover off the ball. There's other players from this draft that have been called up and that are playing and producing. Cam Smith, he's in the big leagues. Usually there's a couple of college pitchers that'll come up first and be able to make some type of impact, and then the position players will follow, unless they're really good, like Nick Kurtz and Cam Smith. And look, Jack Caglione, he earned the spot. By the way, Nick Kurtz was taken number 4, Cags was taken number 6, and Cam Smith was taken number 14 in that draft. You know who was taken 20th overall in that draft, the 2024 draft? Trey Savage. Now think about that for a minute, all right? He was just taken in last year's draft. And his path to where he is right now is remarkable. And it shouldn't be overlooked what he's doing, especially if Toronto goes on to win the World Series. And they're up 3-2 going home to Toronto, and all they have to do is win one of those games. Now, that's going to be tough. Could they still lose it? Sure they could. Dodgers are defending champs. They got Yamamoto going in Game 6. By the way, against Kevin Gausman, which will be a terrific Game 6 pitching matchup. That's going to be awesome. On Halloween, imagine a Friday night up in Toronto on Halloween if they win the World Series. There'd be some partying happening in Canada. Anyway, it's crazy. This kid taken in the same draft as Jack Caglione, and we sit here and had that discussion. Is it too early to call up Cags? Is it too much pressure? And I would say he's not a high school guy. He was in college. He can handle it. Sometimes we overthink these things. They put a kid out there that was just drafted in 2024 facing Blake Snell on the road against the defending champs in Game 5 of the World Series. And he was freaking lights out. Jake, in 2024, he went 11-1 with a 2.03 ERA in 2024, right? For East Carolina College. This year, his rookie year, you notice where his year started?
Single A?
In A-ball.
Yeah.
In the Florida League. That's where this season started. And he's done pitching, I think. We saw him, his last start was last night with a win in Game 5 of the World Series. His season started in A-ball, and it ends by winning Game 5 on the road of the World Series. Game 5 of the World Series on the road. Out-pitching Blake Snell and dominating the defending world champs. He went from A-ball to high A to double A to triple A. He had 7 games. He had 7 starts in A-ball in the Florida League, 4 starts in high A, 7 starts in double A, 4 starts and 6 appearances in triple A. And that's it. You know how many starts he had in the major leagues at the end of the season? Going into the postseason, you know how many major league appearances he had under his belt?
I don't. He wasn't called up till September, though, right?
3.
Yeah, there you go.
And one of them was against the Royals. So he had 3. I mean, again, if you see it in a movie, you're like, it's not realistic. It wouldn't happen like that. A guy that started the season in A-ball is not going to climb the ranks, and they're not going to start him in Game 5 of the World Series.
September
and he's
call-up.
not going to. He's not. That wouldn't happen. We would refute that. Against the Royals on September 21st at Kauffman Stadium, he threw 4 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, walked 3, and struck out 2. Toronto won the game, but the Royals got to him. And so now he freaking in the postseason, and it's not just this game, right? Remember the start where they put him up against the Yankees in the ALDS Game 2? 5 1/3 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Remember that? He did that to the Yankees. He pitched Game 2 of the ALCS, Game 6 of the ALCS, Game 1 of the World Series, Game 5 of the World Series. He now has 5 starts in the postseason and 3 starts in the regular season in his career.
That's a wild flip.
And his record in the postseason is 3-1 with a 3.46 ERA. He has 26 innings pitched and 39 strikeouts. I don't know what to. It's crazy. And I watched almost every bit of that game last night. Man, what a stud. What a pitcher. Unbelievable. And I sure as hell know we haven't talked about it enough. All of his major league starts, 9-15 versus the Rays, 9-21 versus the Royals, 9-27 versus the Rays. Then ALDS Game 2 Yankees, ALCS Game 2 Mariners, ALCS Game 6 Mariners, World Series Game 1 Dodgers, World Series Game 5 Dodgers. What? By the way, he struck out all 9 batters in the Dodgers lineup last night, becoming the 3rd pitcher in World Series history to strike out each batter in the starting lineup, joining Randy Johnson in Game 2 of the 01 World Series and Bob Gibson in Game 1 of the 68 World Series. That's it.
That's it.
Those are the other 2 guys that have struck out every hitter in the lineup in a World Series game. Randy Johnson, Bob Gibson, and now Trey Savage.
It's
Okay.
That's wild, man.
There have only been 2 games in Major League Baseball postseason history where a pitcher struck out at least 10 hitters, struck out 5 consecutive hitters at one point, struck out 50% of the batters he faced, allowed fewer than 5 base runners, and got the win. That's happened twice. You know who that list is? Trey Savage. He's done it twice in this postseason. Once against the Yankees and now against the Dodgers. The 2 teams who won the World Series last year. Rookies with at least 6 innings pitched and 10 strikeouts in a World Series game. Trey Savage and Don Newcomb in 1949. And one of the best moments is when he had 10 strikeouts in his first 5 innings, right? Did you watch? Were you watching most of the game? Did you see this shot?
Yeah, I had it on, yeah.
It was cinematic.
Yeah.
Whoever produced this was great, right? They have this shot of Trey Savage on the mound, and they mention he has 10 strikeouts in his first 5 innings in this game. And the last guy to have at least 10 strikeouts in the first 5 innings of a World Series start was Sandy Koufax in Game 1 of the 1963 World Series against the Yankees. And the shot goes from Savage on the rubber, on the mound, and the shot pans to the crowd, and right there, like in the 3rd row, is Sandy Koufax watching him. As they're talking about the last guy to have double-digit strikeouts through 5 innings, it was him.
Phenomenal.
And then towards the end, you see Koufax kind of put his hands up to his face like, we can't hit this guy.
Right.
Yeah, you would know, buddy. And by the way, that lineup he did that against featured Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, so that was something. And like for a baseball geek like that, you see that. And like I always talk about my grandpa, he'd always mention, best pitchers he ever watched. Sandy Koufax was always on the list.
Right.
But I mean, just that moment, how crazy was that? And the last pitcher to do this before Trey Savage was in the 63 World Series. They pan up, and there's Sandy Koufax right there just watching him. Like, yeah, it was me. I know a little bit about dominating in the World Series and striking hitters out. And this kid is incredible.
I mean, you can't really grasp it because you're watching history. I mean, when we look back, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. But when you're watching it, you're like.
But I mean, not just to do that.
Greatness.
And there'd be nothing. It'd be incredible if you did it in World Series Game 1 or 2 or 3.
Right.
Game 5, when the series is tied
on the road,
and you're on the road,
yeah,
and the opposing pitcher is a former Cy Young Award winner in Blake Snell, and the team that's the defending champs. Like all these boxes you're checking, like it's mind blowing. And he got drafted last year. He started the season in A-ball. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? And then they show his parents up in the crowd who last year, hey, let's go down and catch Trey. He's starting for East Carolina against Central Florida. Let's go see him on Friday night. Now a year later,
let's go to L.A.
Starting Game 5 against the Dodgers, and then they keep showing the parents going crazy, right? Like, what would I don't even like. That was awesome, and they keep pitching to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he hit another home run in the first inning.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah,
all right.
Game-winning home run came on the third pitch.
Who do you think texted me?
Boddicker.
Yeah. Still pitching to him. I said, I know, Mike. I'm watching. I see it. I got it. And you know what? Snell was all guts, too, because that dude, the knock on him was he couldn't get past 5 or 6 innings, whatever. And he was up to like 116 pitches. And I texted Mike. I said, Blake Snell, 116 pitches? Mike said, yeah. I'd just be warming up. I said, that's right, Mike Boddicker. But, we'll talk about what Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing later on at some point. But I just had to highlight. I'm sitting there watching this, and I remember me trying to fend off people. You can't call up Jack Caglione, he was drafted last year. The pressure of him playing in front of 15,000 people at Kauffman Stadium could be too great.
Might ruin him.
Next time you bring that up, and and guess what? Trey Savage is built different, wired different. But a guy that was drafted in 2024 that started the season on A-ball, just wrapped up a season, dominating the Dodgers in Game 5 of the World Series. What a story.
Storybook. Yeah.
There. I got the baseball off my chest. Was that all right? But don't you think that was something for people that didn't watch it,
it was history.
Or weren't paying attention to all the things, and I haven't even read all the great facts and figures and things that he's done, and it's just like, but like watching him last night, oh my God.
That's what you watch sports for, moments like that. Absolutely.
I mean, are you watching this guy?
I mean, the amount of confidence they have in him to run him out there all postseason.
Well, I mean, why? Like,
I mean, after 3 starts.
Well, like the first start against the Yankees. He
absolutely, 11 strikeouts in the first start. Yeah, I get that.
Didn't give up. No, and it just keeps going. And he not every start's been great.
Right.
But I mean, that last night,
it's a big moment.
Jake, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 12 strikeouts. Okay. All right. That's his career right now. 3 starts in the regular season, 5 starts in the postseason. I feel pretty strongly in saying this. Something like that will never happen again. Just all the circumstances. It's just, how could it? We'll take a break. Let's talk to Joe Valerio. We'll get back to football. Thank you for letting me talk baseball. I was just fired up watching that last night. Joe Valerio talks football after this on WHB. What's up, Kansas City? Stephen St. John here for my friends at Window Nation. And the October chilly weather is here. How about that? You feel that this morning? You might not like it.
40. It's a cold run.
My wife does not like it.
40 degrees.
She's mad at me like I did it. She goes, "Is this what you wanted?" I go, yeah. Yes? No? Perhaps? Well, Window Nation windows can help you. Because since the chilly weather is here, if you've got old, stuck, or cracked windows, that means that you could be back to dealing with chilly air seeping into your home. Eliminate those annoying drafts once and for all with Window Nation. And this month, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. With the holidays coming up, that's a really big deal. And, of course, Window Nation has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. Don't miss out on free windows and 0 payments for 2 years. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started, and be sure to tell them Stephen St. John sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Let's check in with former Chiefs offensive lineman Joe Valerio. Joe, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Stephen. How are you, man? Big week. This game's going to be something else.
Tell people again how they can enjoy your podcast, please.
Sure, you can find the podcast through social media at Joe Valerio 73, or you can find Believe, the Believe Network, BLEAV, Believe in Chiefs, and Jeff Fedotin, my podcast partner. We do it every week, all year long.
All right, Joe. Mike Pennell returns to the Chiefs after he was let go by Cincinnati. He wanted out of there and back in Kansas City. Chris Jones wanted him back in Kansas City. And so as soon as he was let go by Cincy, here he comes, and he was in practice yesterday. And we know that the Chiefs have been in search of help on the defensive line, and maybe they still are looking to add someone, but they bring Pennell back. What does he bring to the defense? What does he bring to the team besides happiness in Chris Jones' life?
Yeah, well, that's a number one there. Keep Chris Jones, happy Chiefs. But no, really seriously, I think he brings a lot of. Well, obviously he brings the depth they need, and he brings veteran leadership, championship DNA. He brings an attitude that I think he's a guy that he really seems like a lunch pail guy that just shows up every day, does the work, and makes things happen, very quietly. And I think that's what you need when you play D-line. You got to be the guy who absorbs 2 blocks, keeps your linebackers free. And, it's one of those positions. I think we've talked about it before, Stephen, like defensive linemen, you see these guys on the offensive line, they'll play 70 plays a game, right? Consistently, week in, week out, barring injury. Defensive line, they'll get 30, 40 snaps. They rotate through. It's really hard to play defensive line. I mean, look, of course I want to side with my offensive line buddies, but it's really hard to play D-line. You've got 2 300-pound plus guys, double teaming you when you're inside like that. You're rushing upfield. It's very tiring to rush the passer. You got to be in great shape, and you got to rotate because of that. And you see that even the greats, like even the Chris Joneses of the world, don't play every snap. And unlike a premier left tackle, right, who will play literally every snap of every game of every season. And I just think it's long story long, it brings that sort of veteran depth that they need going into this big run here to try to get back to AFC dominance.
Joe Valerio is our guest, and look, you kind of joked about it that keep Chris Jones happy, but there is something to bringing back a guy that's popular in the locker room, a guy that's helped them win championships before, that understands what the expectation is, that understands what his role is. And he is like, I did a charity event with him right before the season started, along with him and Noah Gray and Gary Dieter and some others. And he's clearly a guy that loves Kansas City, loves this community, and he's very popular with his teammates. There's something to be said for that when you bring a guy like that not only can help you on the football field, but is a perfect fit and can fire people up with his return in the locker room, right?
Absolutely. I mean, football's a chemistry game. It's a momentum and chemistry game. And, you have to have that chemistry. You guys have to trust each other. There's a lot of trust that goes out on the field, at every position. Quarterbacks got to trust their receivers that they're going to run the right routes. Receivers have to trust that their quarterbacks don't know where they are. And then just the list goes on and on and on, right? You got to trust handoffs and meshes between QBs and running backs, and linemen have to trust each other. Safeties, corners have to trust each other. I mean, there's just trust all over the field. And the more you have of that, the more chemistry you have. You see the great teams that win Super Bowl after Super Bowl and have build dynasties. It's always about the chemistry. Yeah, there's, of course, you got to have talent. You got to have the right play calling and all that stuff. But chemistry and trust are a huge factor. And I think that's really good for the Chiefs to have that momentum going back in. And I also think there's something to be said about coming back to a team multiple times, right? That you want to come back, that you're accepted back. It's because everybody knows it's a business. Players leave, they go for more money, they don't have a spot anymore, they don't fit on the roster. But when they come back, it says something about the organization. And I think, and a guy like Mike Pennell says a lot about it. it says a lot about him as a person that he's willing to take that risk to come back.
Joe Valerio is our guest. The Chiefs' offense has been rolling, but now they are probably going to be without Isaiah Pacheco on Sunday, which means that Kareem Hunt would get the start for the Chiefs, and we would probably see an expanded role for Brashard Smith and maybe even Elijah Mitchell getting some work. But Kareem Hunt will be the guy, and he has been elite in short yardage situations this year. And Sam McDowell, the Kansas City Star, had some great information about that and basically pointed out that Kareem Hunt in short yardage situations has been more effective than the Philadelphia Eagles with the tush push. Kareem Hunt, that's it, when it's 4th and 1, 3rd and 1 around the goal line, you give him the ball, he's going to get you the yards you need. He's terrific in short yardage. And so how does this change things? Does this change things if Kareem Hunt is going to be the guy that gets the start and the workhorse on Sunday in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and I have been talking about this on the pod all season, that we were kind of, I don't want to say hoping for more runs and more rushes and carries for Kareem Hunt, but there's something about the way he runs that fits this offense well. He's very patient, even in the open field. Yeah, Steven, you're spot on the short yardage stuff. I mean, he's crushing it. But I like the way he runs out in the open field too. Between the 20s, and I think he's averaging 4 yards a carry. So he can get a little bit. We'll call it mini chunk yardage, right? Because the average 4 yards a carry, next thing you know, it's 3rd and 2, right? If you give him the ball on 1st and 2nd down. Not that teams ever do that, consistently, but still, it tells you something that he can get Patrick Mahomes into 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, right? If they give him the load. I like the way he runs patiently. I think the way he sets blocks up, he does things a little bit differently than Isaiah, so he brings a little bit of a different flavor. They both run very angry, but Kareem has a little bit more patience looking for seams and the hole than Isaiah does, where he just puts his heavy feet down and just goes. So, I think it's a good thing. Jeff and I, like I said, been talking about that all year, about how we were looking for him to get more carries and maybe expand his role. And now that they've worked Brashard Smith into the system, with his swing passes and coming out of the backfield, I mean, I think it, does it hurt? Yeah, you want to have your full complement of your players. Again, back to that chemistry thing. But it also, I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue that others might have if it was, you're the Ravens and you lose Derrick Henry, right? Or let's talk about the team we're playing. If you lose the Bills and you lose Cook, right? I mean, I think it says something that the Chiefs have that kind of depth. And Andy's great, man. He and Matt Nagy are going to be pulling all the tricks out of the hat with, as far as, what I would call extended handoffs, right? Quick shots out of the backfield, quick high percentage passes that really are technically run plays, even though you're throwing the ball forward. So I think they'll have everything ready for this game. It's sad that he's not playing and he's week to week, but hey, that's the story of the league. You gotta have depth and you gotta keep going.
Okay, here's your chance to tell me how dumb I am when I make this comparison. It's not a perfect comparison, but it's just what popped in my head, and you could tell me that I'm losing it. So when I watch Kareem Hunt, and he's so good at picking up the necessary yardage in short yardage situations, he's so effective and consistent. It reminds me of when Marcus Allen came to the Chiefs late in his career. And when he signed with the Chiefs, he was 33 years old. That first year, he had 12 touchdowns. And in the short time he was here, he ran for 12, 7, 5, 9, 11 touchdowns. And it was money in the bank. Now, the offensive line was excellent, but Marcus Allen knew what to do, how to contort his body, how to find the right hole, to do whatever he had to do to get in the end zone and pick up short yardage. And Kareem Hunt now, later in his career, comes back to the Chiefs. And it seems like he's got that innate ability like Marcus Allen did, just to be able to find that necessary yardage in those situations. And Is that dumb?
No, it's a great analogy, man. That's a gift that running backs, the great ones, have that ability to see things happening almost ahead of time. Like they have this sixth sense that they can see the hole opening up, and then they find it. And you know what? They don't go for too much, right? I think that's something that a lot of running backs, kind of fall into a trap of. Well, this is gonna be the one where I break for 80. This is the one I break for 60 or 12 or 15 or 20 yards. Like, he just takes what's given, and that's what Marcus did, man. He just took what was given, and you're not worried about making the big break and busting a linebacker tackle and running, scampering down the field for 30 yards. Like, that's what the great ones do, and I think that's a great analogy, Stephen. I think it's a fantastic way to look at it. It's just a guy who knows how to get the yards he needs, and if it breaks, it breaks, and if it doesn't, you know what? You get up, you do the next play, and you got yourself in a 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 5, right? Which is the coach my college coach. He always said you don't win third down on third down. You win third down on first down and second down. That's when you win third down, because you want to get yourself into 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and that's how you win football games.
All right, it's a marquee matchup every time they meet. Chiefs at Buffalo. Chiefs 1.5-point favorites, unless it's changed from last night. What do you think happens? How does this game play out on Sunday in Buffalo?
I think it's a heavyweight slugfest. I don't think you're gonna get into a shootout where you're getting these two teams into 30s. I think they're both very controlled teams. They're not just bomb the ball down the field. It's going to be a control game. I think it's with the weather, it's going to be cold, mostly cloudy. It's Buffalo in late October, so it's going to be one of those games or early November, I should say. It's going to be one of those games where I think they just slug it out, and I think the Chiefs win this one 27-24. I know they're road favorites. I think they have a great momentum going with them. I think the Bills losing Ed Oliver. I think that's actually softens the middle up for them, and I think that really gives them a little bit of an advantage on some hidden yards. Isaiah being out, look, Andy can mimic the run efficiency, quick game, extended handoffs, and I think we've got a little edge in special teams, and it's going to come down basically to how Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes play, which is actually kind of nice to see that this isn't the Travis Kelce or bust game or the Josh Allen or bust. I mean, the Bills have a great running game. The Chiefs have a lot of weapons. It's not just going to be solely on the shoulders of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So I think when you look at that factor and Spags' defense and his controlled chaos of being able to keep Josh Allen in the pocket, I think the Chiefs pull this one out 27-24.
Joe, somebody wants to say hi to you real quick.
Yeah, we don't have a Joe Valerio to sneak out on the goal line and score a touchdown. That's right. What we need. What's up, buddy?
Talk about end zone efficiency, right? Come on, geez, Steven, thanks, Grunny, for bringing that up. I love it. Good to see you, Grun. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, I don't know, there was a replay on Twitter or X, whatever the hell they call it now. And they showed the Denver game on the Monday night, and I forgot about your touchdown in that game. Was that the game that you did the Nestea plunge in?
Yeah, and I hurt my back. No, I'm just kidding.
that was outstanding. I forgot all about that. I knew that you scored, but I didn't remember kind of how, and then I did not remember the Nestea plunge. So yeah. I think Kelce needs to come back and do some retro Nestea plunge for you.
Right? He's got to get on X and watch some clips of the old school stuff, right? Where we wore leather helmets and no face masks.
Do you think that they even know what the Nestea plunge is?
No. Did they even make Nestea? Is it still around?
I don't know.
I remember what it is, but I don't think any of the players. Andy Reid would know. But
Andy would know.
Remember you'd make it instant, and the sugar at the bottom would be at the bottom of the glass, and you get that last choke down that last big gulp of sugar.
As Pam would say from The Office, second drink, right? Oh, yeah. Second drink.
Exactly, Grug.
How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I know you guys are doing well out there in Philly. So what's it like to be there right in ground zero of the Philadelphia Eagles world? I mean, I know that you do a little bit of stuff with some of the people that are involved in that organization, but What's it like? I mean, they're pretty intense fans.
Yeah, there's a love-hate. There's a lot of love, right? It's a city of brotherly love. I mean, there's a lot of love, but there's also that like love-hate relationship with sports here. They get down fast, but they get up fast. Like it's a crazy dichotomy of emotions that go on with Philadelphia fans. It's just because they're hungry for wins. Some of the Flyers haven't won a Stanley Cup since the '70s, mid '70s. So hockey, they're rabid hockey fans, but they love the Flyers, but then they hate the Flyers. So that's just like a prime example of what it's like to be a sports fan out here. But they do listen. They are rabid fans, and they do have your back when the time is needed, and they will defend you as long as you play hard. They will defend you.
Well, they better start defending Harper because I think they're trying to get rid of him. So the first baseman for the Phillies, what's his first name again? I'm drawing a blank. Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper, who's been there, has been kind of the guy, the catalyst, the comeback of the Phillies. Him and Schwarber and I guess who else would be probably in that mix of guys that kind of the rebirth. But now they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's when you're not winning, they want to change fast, and that never works. That. They just want to like rebuild and get rid of everybody, start fresh. And they're seeing it happen with the Sixers. To trust the process, right? That was a disaster. Because it was try to build, and then all of a sudden it's like get rid of everybody. Well, there goes trusting the process. So it's a fun sports town, Timmy. But it's also can be a little bit frustrating because the fans will turn very fast on you.
Joe, it was good talking to you. I'm glad you had a chance to talk to Grunny.
My man.
And we will talk to you again next week.
All right, we'll see you then, guys.
See you, Joe. Are you coming up for the alumni game?
Timmy, I got to talk to you about that.
Okay.
It's a long story.
Text me.
I'll give you a call.
Give me a text or a call. All right, buddy.
All right, we'll do, buddy. See you, pal.
All right, man.
All right, that's Joe Valerio. We'll take a break. Back after this on WHB. Stephen St. John here from my friends at Andy's Frozen Custard. If you are looking for a great way to celebrate a Big Chiefs win, or if you just want to go take your family for a nice October treat, go to Andy's Frozen Custard. They have caramel apples right now. They got that s'mores concrete to the s'mores jackhammer. And, of course, you can get the 87 and running concrete to celebrate Travis Kelce's 87 and running foundation. You know what? A portion of the proceeds of every 87 and running concrete sold goes to Travis's foundation, and it's an awesome concrete. It starts with the world's finest vanilla frozen custard. Then they spike it with Oreo, cookie dough, and cream caramel. And, again, a portion of the proceeds for every one sold goes to the 87 and Running Foundation. And while supplies last, get any medium concrete or jackhammer in a Travis Kelce souvenir cup only at Andy's Frozen Custard, and tell them SSJ sent you.
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated. HLAC certified to the highest medical